You're watching The Book Reviewer with Cindy Brady, where we make hardcovers soft. Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Book Reviewer with your host Cindy, and I have another book review to share with you guys. So I just got finished reading this really awesome book called Local Girl Missing by Clara Douglas, and it is a new book according to my library. I'm not sure when she published it. It was sometime this year because the copyright is this year. So I'm not sure about that, but here's what this is about. When Sophie begins to date Leon, Frankie warns her not to be lured in by his sensitivity and startling blue eyes. Frankie sees a dark side to him, but Sophie is smitten. Shortly after this romance begins, 21-year-old Sophie vanishes, last seen at the town's old Victorian pier. 20 years later, Frankie receives a call from Sophie's brother, Daniel, informing her that remains have been found near the old pier. Frankie wonders if it could be Sophie and returns her to her hometown to try to finally find closure. Haunted by the familiar faces that filled her youth and threatening notes that allude to past secrets that only Sophie would have known, Frankie begins to think she sees a woman on the pier late at night, a woman who looks just like Sophie. Could she be seeing her friend's ghost? Does someone else know what happened those many years ago? Feeling isolated and unnerved, Frankie begins to wish she hadn't returned. As she looks for emotional support from Daniel, she realizes she may have deeper feelings for him and wonders how her life would have been if she chose to love him instead of the man she married. Falling down a spiral of self-doubt and alcohol-fueled nights, as Frankie gets closer to the truth, she becomes aware that her own past secrets coming to light might cost her everything: her family, her sanity, or even her life. So this has 336 pages, and it has 40 chapters, and I'm pretty sure it has a Kindle edition, you guys. So this was a great book. This is the first time I've ever heard of Clara Douglas. And this was like a mystery type romance type of variety book. I'm beginning to kind of branch out into books that I never really would have read if I didn't want to read them and review them. So there are some differences in this book. The author lives in England, so with American English, we tend to spell things a bit differently. We pronounce the Z's a little differently. We spell certain words differently, and it shows it in the book that is the case, that we spell words differently and things like that. Some of the differences are curb. In English, it's C-U-R-B, and in England, it's K-E-R-B. So there's a bit of a difference there. Also, it's like some of the words like amazing and coincidentally, and I think amazing has a Z in English, and amazing has an S in English, or in British English. So there's that difference as well. So some of the spelling is a little bit tricky to come across, but it basically means the same thing in English, and so that's a bit different. But it doesn't really detract from the story. It doesn't mean that it's wrong, because I mean, it's only in America that we spell things differently. I mean, we're the only one that uses pounds instead of kilograms. So there's some differences between America and the rest of the world. But this was a great book. Um, Local Girl Missing by Clara Douglas. And this wasn't a sort of book that I've read before. Um, so, um, this mystery slash romance kept me guessing till the very end, um, figuring out who the murderer was and who done it, why, all those questions you get when you're trying to figure out, okay, what was the motive? What was the motivation to do this? Um, and of course, everything has to have a reason. Why did you do this? Why didn't you go for help? Type thing. So this was pretty cool. This turned out a little differently than I thought it would. Um, but I'm not going to give away the ending because I don't want any spoilers. um, I will put a link down in the video description below to where you might find this book. I think your local library might have it. If not, it may be on Amazon Kindle, which I'll put a link down in the description below for. If not, I'll probably put a comment on this video saying it might not be on Kindle. So, overall, this was a great book. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad that I found a book that I hadn't read before and that I was exploring with. I might look at other books by Clara Douglas. It looks like she wrote a book called The Sisters, which I may do a review on. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for subscribing. Keep reading. Don't stop believing. And we will see you again soon. Bye, guys.